The Safer Route. Voices from the Border. A podcast of Safer Project. Tariq's journey presses on. The poignant memories of Bulgaria still fresh as he steps onto Greek soil. The faces and stories of refugees he met linger in his thoughts, each narrative a testament to resilience amidst adversity. Now, in Greece, he seeks to understand how these human experiences influence and are influenced by the immigration policies. How do the hopes and fears of both refugees and locals intertwine to shape the laws that govern them? In the heart of Athens, Tariq meets Maria Kritsotaki, a dedicated social worker with 7 years of experience in the field. Maria has walked alongside countless asylum seekers, witnessing their struggles and triumphs. She shares with Tariq the dual nature of Greek society's response, the warmth of solidarity and the coldness of xenophobia.
Greece became a magnet for hundreds of thousands of immigrants. The accumulation of a large population of immigrants was unprecedented for the native Greek population and created a major political issue with different approaches. The local communities can be said to have been divided into two groups: those who immediately showed feelings of support, hospitality, and humanity, and those who, upon the entry of a foreign population, felt feelings of anger, fear, and inability to manage this situation. They felt it was very difficult. But to a greater extent, the Greek local communities had a negative attitude towards immigrants with strong racist elements and xenophobia. They feel that maybe they want to steal them, or maybe they want to work, and the Greek man especially, they can't work anymore. Services such as the Asylum Service, the Refugee Authority, and the Reception and Identification Service are responsible for the proper harmonization and coexistence of refugees, both in our country and in the relocation procedures in other countries. The process of integrating immigrants into our country is a very difficult matter, not only in terms of the process, but the socio-political developments in the country also play an important role. As every time the face of government changes, the laws and service delivery systems can also change, or regulation on various important issues can pose to apply. So this whole scheme affects our work too much, as we will have to learn new laws and regulations from the beginning. Also, we will have to inform the population that which we serve about any changes, and this can create negative emotions and anger, as well as to stop trusting us or disappointing us, or thinking that we are making fun of them. Finally, both local attitudes and socio-political, I think that affect the stability and trust we have built so far with immigrants. And the trust and stability for them is very important to continue to live. I want to tell that all we are people, so for all of us, we deserve to live. For me, the most important and very difficult experience when I was in a shelter for boys, and two siblings, two children, 11 years old I think, They were here in Athens, in Greece general, alone. Their mother was in Turkey. Terrorists have kept it in prison, so they traveled here alone, 11 years old. It was very, very difficult moment for me because they waited for me to be like a mother, to feel comfortable, to feel safety. And it was very, we started to cry together.
Through Maria's heartfelt accounts, Tariq gains a deeper appreciation of the human cost embedded within Europe's migration crisis and the unwavering efforts required to foster trust and stability in such turbulent times. Continuing his journey, Tariq met Margarita Markoviti, political scientist specializing in religious minorities, politics, and law, provided him with a comprehensive understanding of the legal and political complexities of the migration crisis in Greece and Europe. Dr. Markoviti offers an in-depth analysis of the evolving migration patterns in the Western Balkans, highlighting Greece's transformation into a primary transit and destination country for refugees and migrants. She sheds light on the complex challenges posed by shifting immigration policies, the continuous practices of migrant detention and pushbacks, and the profound human impact of maritime tragedies.
Migration flows are not a one-way phenomenon, as migration itself is multidimensional. And it is clear that, as you mentioned, the phenomenon of irregular migration is once again becoming a strongly political issue in the EU as elsewhere. Now, the fact of the matter is that all attempts, national in Greece or European, the directives, EU directives, the pacts, the agreements with third countries, such as the one with Turkey, do not seem to have influenced migration flows. Look at the statistics on migration by the European Commission. Illegal border crossings to the EU have in fact been increasing at a rate of 60% per year, which shows that such measures adopted by the EU or by national governments have not precluded people from deciding to come to Europe. So the difficulties, the challenges that migrants, refugees, or asylum seekers face when attempting to either cross the Aegean or walk the distance to Europe via Greece, which may vary from being forced to return, to denied asylum, or even risking their own lives, do not seem to affect their decision to migrate. Though each case is certainly unique, and I wouldn't want us to fall in the trap of generalizing, research does seem to show that the choice one makes to leave everything behind and to seek a better future, either to save their lives or to build a better life, is usually much stronger and more deeply motivating than even the knowledge of the difficulties and threats they will potentially be facing along the way. So even though efforts have been made, it's not a one-sided phenomenon. And I think that a more durable and uniform response from the EU is absolutely necessary, covering all possible migration areas, including the asylum system, better levels of cooperation with third countries, etc., etc. One of the main safety challenges, I believe, stems from the reality of the fact that Greece continues to systematically detain refugees and migrants facing deportation proceedings, even to countries where returns are neither feasible nor in line with the country's international obligations. And the primary nationality of people placed in immigration detention, for instance, just last year in 2023 was Pakistan, followed by Albania, Afghanistan, Syria, and Somalia. What's more, and I think this is equally important, in many cases, detention conditions in such pre-removal centers fail to meet the basic adequate standards, largely due to their prison-like design and conditions. Police stations and other police facilities, which are by nature not suitable to maintain people for longer than, 24 hours, continue to fall short of basic standards. And through my own research on the question of migration, last year there were many reported incidents in such pre-removal centers where there were no doctors, no psychiatrists, but also no cleaners. And very often, children were placed together with adults in the same room, basically, for periods much longer than a day. Another safety challenge following detention and detention conditions has to do with the very common use of pushbacks. In Greece, pushbacks, this is a very known secret, pushbacks at land and at sea borders have become almost de facto general policy. And this is something that is repeatedly noted by the UN Special Rapporteur on the Human Rights of Migrants. Such operations are illegal and they violate national and international law and the rights of refugees. And what reports seem to show us is that such practices of pushing migrants back upgraded to an even more sophisticated and organized operation, such as conducting illegal pushbacks even after migrants or asylum seekers have reached the shores of a Greek island. This is a tactic that's been referred to as kidnap operations. At the same time, and regrettably, no effective criminal or administrative investigation into the circumstances of the various reported pushback incidents seems to have been taking place. Another safety challenge has to do with the ways in which national authorities in the countries decide upon and implement the returns decision, the deportation, if you like, decisions. According to reports, and again, it's very hard to conduct research in this area, but there have been many such reports, police authorities, which are in charge of such decisions in Greece, systematically circumvent EU law by indiscriminately issuing deportation orders against newly arrived individuals who seek asylum and who therefore enjoy a right to remain on the territory. And figures show that deportation orders in derogation of their EU return directive were issued last year in 2023 with respect to countries such as Syria, Afghanistan, Palestine, Eritrea, Somalia, thereby confirming their unlawful practice. And last but not least, I cannot mention one of the most serious safety concerns that relate to any such trajectory that an individual may choose to undertake, particularly by crossing the Aegean, is a very common occurrence of shipwrecks taking place in the Aegean Sea. It was in June 2023 when the Pylos shipwreck took place, concerned a boat which was crossing the Aegean Sea, and hundreds of individuals drowned. I think most of them were from Syria, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Eritrea.
As Tariq's journey unfolds, he finds himself at a crossroads. The stories of the many expulsions he has been told remind him of Bilal's words. The journey of everything or nothing. So what happens when you don't reach your goal? Is it really impossible to find a legal way to migrate? To understand this, Tariq must return to Pakistan, the place where it all began, and for many, where it all ends.